Welcome back, or welcome if you're joining us for the first time today to National League Round 7 here at Glasgow University in Scotland. Netball Scotland's National League last round before the finals, and this is our second match of the day. Edinburgh Accies against Glasgow Saltires. Match number 2, as I mentioned. Let's have a little look at the team lineups for this one. For Accies, this is how they're going to start. Gemma Soul at goal shooter, Joe Pettit at goal attack, Claire Tui at wing attack, Meg Wildman at centre, Heather Marshall and captain at wing defence, Rebecca Innes goal defence, Ruby McLean at goalkeeper. And for Saltires, we'll bring that to you with action underway. Rona Easton will start at goal shooter. Zara Flett, she's back today from Orkney, and good morning to everyone up in the Orkney Islands region. Maya Trees at wing attack, Lucy Gore the captain at centre, Julie McDonald at wing defence in the very last game of her 15-plus year career. Julie McDonald, the last netball match of her 15-year career with the Saltires. She's at wing defence, Louise McDermott at goal defence, and Beth Brownlee at goalkeeper. That's our lineups. We'll bring the substitutes to you as they happen. Lucy Gore has to go back through the centre. And Easton, that goal goes up and in. And ball deliverer you may have seen right there at the start, Tegan Eldrick from Elon Academy in Aberdeenshire. Her and 50 of her closest friends are here watching in person today at the University of Glasgow. It's great to have them here. We'll have special ball deliverers for each of our remaining 2 matches as well. Our umpires for this one, Sam Beerling, he's on the bottom side. And Gillian Leslie is on the top of your screen. The reserve is Katie Wayne. Working the bench, Eliza Mather and Frances Cathcart. We can't do anything without all our officials who help out. 1 goal apiece here in the early going. To Ian Pettit. That obstruction will go against Julie McDonald. Over the top this time from Tui to a trusty left arm shot of Gemma Soul. Saltires, plenty of intent straight away, but it's going to end up a replay for Ruby McLean. Did well, did Flett there, saved that one. In and out from Rona Easton, and rebound falls into the hands of Rebecca Innes. She was outstanding last week for Accies, and footwork call this time against Meg Wildman, so come the Saltires the other way. It's McDonald looking for options. Oh, Lucy Gore takes a little blow to the side of the head, but doesn't impact her too much, and on we go. Trees leaves it for Flett, long range shot, her specialty, and Rona Easton tried to save that one, and narrow area there along the baseline, and wasn't able to get the leverage. Marshall and Pettit and Tui, and eventually with Soul. And noticed last week that Soul did the bulk of the scoring in some quarters and deferred to Pettit in others, and then vice versa. So we'll see how it goes here today. And what we do know is that those goal percentages were certainly very high. So of course, with our unofficial, official stats, we'll bring those to you as the game progresses. Another one for Accies, and 4 of the first 5 for them. And Of course, there's a lot standing on their result here. A win for Accies, and they will go in front of Bella Houston, and they will temporarily be in second place. And where they finish at the end of this day will then depend on the result of Edinburgh University in their match. So plenty to play for, and we still don't know how those semi-finals are going to line up. Got 4 wins and 2 defeats on the year for Accies, and they did get a bonus point for a narrow loss, so they're on 21 points. 2 wins against the 4 defeats for Sharon Lyons' team. Currently in 6th place do Saltires, and there's another one for Easton. And 5-3. Settled in a little bit here, the Saltires, and going to work their way back into the game. Here's Wildman. Read that best, did Beth Brownlee, and timed her run to that ball. And timed it nicely. Here's Flett. It's obstruction against Rebecca Innes. I mentioned the defensive back 3 last week were outstanding for Accies. Another one for Easton, and she's doing the bulk of the work early, and we're back on serve here. 5-4. Flett, good release to Easton. Up and over, and nodded back up at 5. So settled into this game nicely, have the Saltires, and they mean business today. McDonald gets a tip, saves it, or only as far as, in the end, Rebecca Innes, and come to Pettit and Wildman, and she'll go back with the no look at a Pettit, directing traffic. Sol dragging most of the attention of the circle defenders in her direction, and that leaves plenty of room for Pettit. Easy one for her. 6-5. There's Trees. Just waited for Easton to release, and Ruby McLean just wanted that ball just a little more, and she timed her leap nicely. Tui zipping along the top. Pettit front spot, doesn't like that shot position, and Sol just used the body nicely and created a whole bunch of space under the post. Couple in a row for Accies, and through a couple of sets of hands, and then eventually Brownlee, and rapidly down the court go Saltires, but better bounce on McLean. There's Gore, goes back to Flett. Gore and Flett combine again. That one from Flett's a little short though, so opportunity again for Accies. Look at these shooting percentages early. 5 of 8 for the Saltires. 100%, 7 from 7 so far for Accies. That one goes out of bounds. Pettit to take it. And an obstruction this time against Brownlee, so the internal passing was a feature last week between Pettit and Sol, and it looks very similar again. This body positioning is just supreme and very, very difficult to stop. Good take, Trees. Goes wide to Gore, and this time contact against McLean. Another attempt for Flett. And just can't quite find the range at the moment. That one goes over the baseline. Accies by 3, and possession coming back their way. So Marshall and Pettit. Sol a bit further out. The result's the same. Enjoyed that. And shout out to her defensive end as we come back for another centre pass. 9-5, looking to double up here. Cross-court ball, Wildman. The timing to Sol there was very nicely done from Meg Wildman. Saw her come on. She didn't start last week, so making the most of the opportunity today, and that pass was centimetre perfect. And for Easton goes down. Hope you're enjoying us wherever you're watching on the Netball Scotland YouTube page, and we're powered by Cobalt Media. Been doing a great job, and thank you to the team involved with that, bringing us stats, different camera angles, and all the additional bits and pieces that you'll see. Flett was trying to find Easton, but she was heavily guarded by Ruby McLean, and Flett did the little off the post to yourself, but didn't provide enough separation between herself and the post. So that's classed as a short pass. So for anyone thinking about trying that little manoeuvre, you've still got to have enough room between yourself and the post when you try and pull it off. So that time, Zara Flett, not quite enough, says umpire Sam Beerling, and you've got that one right, Sam. That instruction is going to go against Julie McDonald, and be Tui. Contact against Brownlee, and another opportunity for Pettit, and she makes good with that. So 13 plays 6, just over 4 minutes remaining. Still at 100% shooting are Accies. So can't ask much more than that from the circle, and the defenders are working overtime as well to make life difficult for Saltires, and see if Zara Flett can step into one here. Just can't quite find the range. A little bit rusty perhaps, Zara, after a couple of weeks off, and the head well and truly in the books as she finished her dissertation. So too good a shooter, I'm sure she'll find the range shortly. Here's Wildman at the other end. Well, bounce pass as far as Tui, but McDonald read it best and tipped it to Lucy Gore. So can this spark something for Glasgow Saltires? Here's Flett. Back to McDonald. Trees. Contact against McLean. Rona Easton for another. Runs up and in. Look at some of these other percentages. Centre pass conversions, 50% for Saltires so far. A little bit higher for Accies, sitting in the mid-60s. And converting a lot of the gains that they've created, so converting 70% of their gains. And here's another gain for Accies, so can they convert another? 7 out of 10 conversions so far off turnovers, so Tui and Wildman and Pettit deliberately looking to play quickly today, Accies. Sol over the top. One goes home, so 15 goals to 7, and we were at 5-all, and all of a sudden a 10-2 run for Accies has blown this game wide open. Oh, Sol did well in the end. Tapped it back to Wildman, and tiptoeing along the right baseline, and converts another. The 16th for Accies. Accies part of a multi-sport club that includes rugby, cricket and women's hockey. And the rugby club at Edinburgh Accies, one of the oldest rugby clubs in the world. So plenty of history for Edinburgh Accies, and looking to write some history themselves, Accies, with another National League finals appearance. And we know they'll be there. It's just who they will play in the semis remains to be seen. Those of you who were watching earlier, those semi-finals will be held in 2 weeks' time. If the grand finals are 2 weeks after that, so in the next month we're going to really get down to the business end of this competition, and certainly know that Accies are going to be there in some capacity, and they're going to be tough to beat. That shot from Flett, Easton tried to keep in, but just couldn't quite grab it. So, last couple of opportunities this quarter look like they're going to head Accies' way. Pettit left baseline. Pure. Just check with my trusty stats man Simon, and I look at the shooting percentage for Accies, and yes, it is still at 100%. 19 from 19. Last opportunity for the Saltires. Can they use the clock in their favour? It's going to be an obstruction all the way under the post, and the last opportunity will come for Rona Easton. And she does convert. So that will see us through the first 15 minutes. 19 goals, Edinburgh Accies, 8 for the Glasgow Saltires. Got a lot of work to do. We'll come back with the second quarter shortly. All right, second quarter about to get underway. Some changes for Accies. Beg your pardon, some changes for the Glasgow Saltires. Louise McDermott and Beth Brownlee have switched bibs in the defensive circle. So McDermott back to keeper, Brownlee out to goal defence. Zara Flett moves back to shooter. Jenny Scott comes on at goal attack. Of course, Jenny Scott started last week. Rona Easton moves to the bench, and Scott comes on at goal attack. So let's see if those changes can see the Saltires make some inroads here. Good footwork, Scott. Shot is up and in, and that's a good start for the Saltires here in this second quarter. Got some work to do. Down 11. Look down the court. It doesn't look like any changes here for I beg your pardon. Claire Tui has gone off that wing attack, and she's been replaced by sure that's Lauren Pollock. Yes, it is. Pollock on at wing attack. Certainly not losing any experience with Lauren Pollock coming on over 50 first team appearances. And Accies Intel tell me she's a creative feeder, an Edinburgh Uni graduate and a PE teacher. So back at school this week, all the PE teachers. So I hope you enjoyed your mini break. The one for Accies, and in comes another centre pass. Waldman is trying to find Marshall, and Tree's got a nice touch, but she stands out. Here is Pollock and feeds Pettit. Steps into another goal. 100% is maintained, we think. Well, we're very confident unofficially. And here's another opportunity that's heading the way of Accies, and we'll look at some of those other numbers. 57% for Saltires. I beg your pardon, 60. So looking to bring that number up a little bit, because if the other team's shooting 100%, you need to take advantage of all your opportunities. Speaking of opportunities, here's another one for Gemma Sol, and it goes up and in. 24 plays 9. So 5-1 to start this quarter. Of course, it was 5-1 in the opening exchanges of the first quarter, and the Saltires got themselves back into it. So see if they can do the same thing again. Another reset through the centre third. Trees and Flett. Good shooters keep shooting, and that's exactly what Zara Flett is, and that one goes straight down. So maybe that'll get it going. Pettit, Sol. Didn't trick too many people into thinking that she was going to shoot that, did Gemma Sol, and that internal passing finds Pettit. Another one for her. Trees, Flett, Gore in that order. Jenny Scott in front and centre. As a couple of defenders go sailing by, and converts that one. Contact this time against Brownlee, and she stands out. And Accies are certainly well on their way to cementing a place in this top four, and this will help their cause as they come away again. Ball from Marshall, and well supported Innes well up the court, all the way up on that attacking transverse line. Pettit again. Oh, Dermot got a fingernail and wasn't able to corral it though. Well, Waldman looked away from Pettit and then ended up going back her direction. And up and in for another. And they're rolling now, are Accies. Waldman. Yes. Pollock. Long cross-court ball into the pocket for Waldman, and some close attention from Julie McDonald, but brushes it off, and Pettit knocks another one down. So 28 plays 11, 5.5 minutes gone in this second quarter. Match number 2 in round number 7 of the Netball Scotland National League. Released just the right time there, did Jenny Scott. In the pocket again, Pollock, and mid-ranger for Pettit. And that one is off the back iron. So they are human. First miss for Accies. Took till 6.5 minutes almost into the second quarter. So what can the Saltires do off the back of that miss? Here's Scott just sneaks along left baseline. Oh, that one's firm. Misses everyone's rebounding hands, and Flett releases underneath and knocks it down. So opportunity here for a couple in a row for Saltires. Gore, good speed. And whacked away by McLean, out of bounds. Flett over the top from Gore, and that one's up and in. Back to 14. Wildman and Pettit. And back to Wildman and Gore obstructs. Sol just had the positioning against Brownlee there, and he's up and in. Movement over on the Saltires bench. We'll keep an eye on that. Gore and Scott. Flett over the top to Jenny Scott this time, and it's another easy conversion for them. And it's going to be Brownlee that heads to the bench. We saw her at goalkeeper initially. Goal defence in that quarter. A no-looker almost from Pollock, and Gemma Sol proving she's human as well, and it's her first turnover. Heather Kennedy is the person who has come on for Brownlee, goal defence. And the speed that this ball's been coming down for Accies, she's going to be very busy. But here she is up on the attacking line. Gore and Scott. Trees to Gore, and good positioning Flett. Mid-range for her. Oh, didn't drop in off the front rim, and Becca Innes. Good rebound, and then draws the contact from Flett. Kept on running, did Marshall, and she's been good again. Another call against Sol, so a couple in a row against her. The Saltires can put together a little run of their own and in the quarter, and that's how you get yourself back into matches. Win quarters, and got a bit of work to do. And Marshall again, the captain. First hands to that one, and here come Accies again. Beautiful pass, Meg Wildman. It was right on the money, that one. 30 plays 15. Just over 5 minutes remaining till our major break. Second quarter is zoomed by as well. There's Trees. Good balance out to Gore. Jenny Scott left baseline, rattles that one home. I mean, 80% in this quarter, shooting percentage-wise. Saltires, and like I mentioned, they are human. Accies at 85%. Another one for Sol. That'll boost the percentage just ever so slightly. Both teams really good numbers off their own centre passes in this quarter. And cut the turnovers down as well, so it makes for a freer flowing game. And key stat, looking at the numbers there. 5 gains this quarter for Accies, and they've converted 4 of them, so excellent numbers in that regard. But both teams converting their centre passes up over 70% in this quarter, so numbers that will please both coaches. Pass may not please Chelsea Ewing too much for Accies, and here come the Saltires again. A little bit of internal passing of their own from Scott to Flett that occasion, and Flett goes up and in for another, back to 13. Here's the centre pass. And Scott goes back to Trees, and Gore's been busy. Good stretch, Jenny Scott. Rattles that one home. Margin is 12, so good little passage of play here for Saltires. Mentioned that margin was 11 at quarter time. Remains at 12, so just 12-11 so far in this quarter. Pettit to make it 13 in the quarter, and she does. 32 plays 19. There's Gore and Trees again. Gore working hard from that centre pass, and Scott creating a lot of space for herself over the back shoulder, and just a little bit more of a margin for error for Gore to throw that pass into, and either way it was right on the money on that occasion. There's Wildman in deep in the pocket. A beautifully weighted pass, Pettit to Sol. There's goal number 33 for Accies. Just over 2 minutes remaining till half time. Trees and Gore. Scott leaves it for Gore, and then ducks right over the back and slipped, fell. Maya Trees was the person who benefited from that, and here's Maya Trees with another pickup and off the Flett miss and via Gore, and that one goes up and in for Saltires, so that's another one. Just over 90 seconds till the siren, and Accies make the most of this next possession. Long range shot for Sol, beautiful shot. Jenny Scott with the centre pass received this time, and Trees, and beautiful pass from Flett back to Scott, and got herself right under the basket then and had to take a step back, and she did, and she converted. There's Wildman, just waiting for Pettit to give herself a little bit more room, and I think we'll have to call that a shot in the end. I'll just get the nod from Simon that was indeed a shot on goal. I think Jo Pettit was trying to palm it off as a pass to her partner in crime, Gemma Sol, but nothing gets past Simon. 30 seconds or so remaining. Trees, and lovely release again, Scott. Timing's been good between her and her feeders. That margin is 12, so probably last chance of the quarter for Accies. Long ball, just out of the reach of McDermott, and takes a little peek over her shoulder, does Sol at the clock, and going to rush that back. So Saltires take it, and they will be forced into it, and need to get it into the circle quickly, and not quite. It's an entertaining second quarter, comes to a close, but favoured Accies 17 goals to 15 in that quarter in their favour, so they'll take a 13-goal lead into the main break. Entertaining one. Join us soon for the second half. Welcome back to the third quarter. A strong second quarter, as we mentioned, but kept up with Accies in that second quarter, did the Saltires. Look at some changes here. Zara Flett's gone back to goal attack. Jenny Scott slides back to shooter. Julie McDonald moves to centre. Lucy Gore, wing attack. And Lorna Farrell comes on at wing defence. So changes are plenty for Accies. Oh, for Accies, the changes. Hannah Bree comes on at goalkeeper. Hannah Gaunt at wing defence. Lily Maxwell comes on at goal attack. And Claire Tui back on at wing attack as Laura Pollock goes back to the bench. So changes are plenty. There's that long pass attempt there from Lily Maxwell, and a bit unlucky was Beth Brownlee to, Louise McDermott. And ball don't lie, as they say, and McDermott comes away with it. I mentioned McDonald had moved to centre. Confident start for Zara Flett in this third quarter. Off the pass, and then combination with Gore, and Zara Flett almost looking at the basket to say, why couldn't I do that earlier? But she's found her radar now. As soon as they can get themselves right back into this match, the Saltires. And Sol. That one's up and in. So changes are plenty for both teams. Often takes a little while to settle into the match again, and there's a significant amount of changes, and unfortunately for Julie McDonald, that one goes off her fingertips. So away come Accies again. Wildman. There's Gaunt over to Wildman. And Maxwell up and in for her. For Lily Maxwell. It's her first season at Accies. Another Edinburgh Uni graduate. And I'm assured by the Accies personnel that Lily has run a sub 3 hour 30 marathon last September, and anyone who knows anything about marathon running, 5-minute kilometres for 42 kilometre is an outstanding run. So sub 3:30 marathon. Great job by you, Lily. As I mentioned, her first season with Accies, so she's on the board. Came hard at the ball, did Hannah Bree, and she won that battle. Too deep to Maxwell in the corner, and over the top to Sol. Obstruction is going to go against Lorna Farrell. Saw plenty of her on court last week and did a good job. So she's going to have her hands full with the combination of Tui and Wildman. She'll need to be at her best. The one goes down, so Margin back out to 16 and looking pretty comfortable again. And Scott stayed at home and the defenders went hunting, and Scott will cash in. Of course, both Hannah Gaunt and Lily Maxwell were absent last week, so good depth for Accies. Bring some people back in, so nice flat from mid-range. Looks to drop off to Scott and gets deflected on the way, and she'll go to post this time. Just can't get the roll today, Flett, but good rebound for Scott, and one goes up and in. And changes here, and Oldman goes to the bench. Heather Marshall comes back on at centre. Scott this time, rare miss for her. And Flett was out of bounds, trying to chase that down. 86%, that number has stayed high all the way through for Accies. Mid-70s for Saltires. Another opportunity going to head their way on this occasion though. Centre pass conversions this quarter, not so great for Saltires. 33%, 50% for Accies. So, a little lower than either team would like, but it's probably a good reflection on the defenders. And Scott chimes in with a steal there and feeds Flett quickly. Did well in the end there. Really Maxwell, and nothing wrong with the shooting style either. Left baseline, up and in. Gore quickly to Scott. Confident shot as well. Right baseline, and that one goes down. So the margin at half time was 13. The margin right now is 13 at the midway point of the third quarter. So status quo here in this third quarter. 7 goals apiece. Make that 8-7 now for Accies. So more changes. Looks like Beth Brownlee's going to re-enter the fray, and goalkeeper. She'll come back on, and Louise McDermott will get a rest. Flett, Gore, working very close quarters there in that pocket in the corner. Scott, one pump, just a little short, and Accies move quickly down court. Marshall, we mentioned she started at wing defence, centre now. Good pass from Tui over to Sol, and that one's up and in, and that 15 goal margin remains. Come Accies again, relentless today. Beautiful pass from Heather Marshall. Read the play almost perfectly, did Hannah Bree, but just a millimetre too late. Here's the Accies goal, and that one goes untouched, and Heather Marshall acknowledges that. Sorry, my bad. Back to Kennedy, and eventually Gore, she'd like that one again. Just a little firm. Just waiting on the zig, and instead there was a zag, and here's an Accies opportunity. And from a long way away, Maxwell was screaming for it, but only read it best. But unfortunately for her, it's coming back quickly. Maxwell and Tui over the top, and Brownlee tried to get up but just couldn't quite instruction this time against Hannah Bree, and Scott makes no mistake. Tui, she's done power of work off the centre pass and provides an option for Maxwell, but a better option is Sol right underneath the post, and another easy one for Accies. And as we tick under 5 minutes remaining in this third quarter, that lead remains in the mid-teens at 16 right now. If Saltires can piece together a little run here before we hit the three-quarter time mark. Score wide. Again, working in very close quarters, but created some space up and over the top for Scott, and she converts. Tui, Maxwell, Marshall, and a pass that had to be literally centimetre perfect, and it was. Conversion for Sol, and back we go the other way with McDonald. Involved twice, and that pass is right on the money for Jenny Scott at the back post. And she doesn't let her centre court teammate down. Drew a fair bit of attention there, did Lily Maxwell, and gave Gemma Sol a lot of room to operate in, and she converts. Nice flat. Donald. Oh, Jenny Scott knew it as soon as the foot was landing. Just over the baseline, and here come Accies again, relentless. Tui, Maxwell, long range shot for her, beautiful shot. 17, chance to make it 18. Good tip up and out of bounds. Heather Kennedy did well. Oh, Sol was falling out of bounds, had to throw it up and in towards the hoop. Be an attempt, and then a rebound eventually for Brownlee. So did well then, the Saltires defence. Gore, McDonald, got a foot tangled. Bring it back. Someone will be out of play. It'll be Hannah Bree, in fact. 45-degree angle, right in line with that, and it never looked like missing. That one goes astray, however, for Saltires. They were starting a little consecutive goals run of their own. Let's see if Sol can put a stop to that. She does. 2 minutes till three-quarter time. 52 plays 35. 16 goals to 12 in this third quarter. Well done, Brownlee. Front position. Quickly to Farrell, and then Gore. Positioning by Zara Flett, and the pass from Jenny Scott was exquisite. Gore again. Donald. Scott will go to post this time. Oh, that's short. Knocks it out of the hands of Rebecca Innes, and she'll stand out of play. 75 seconds or so. Accies building. They're certainly going to play in the finals. Who they play in the semi-final, they're a long way from knowing yet. Really, Maxwell's just making sure that they're going to win this game, and long-range shooting in this quarter has been a feature. Tui. Back to Maxwell, and Sol. The post was getting bigger and bigger in the corner of her eye, and just fumbled that one out over the baseline. Brownlee had to go back for that feed from Farrell. Overusing it a little bit here in this back third. Good drive, McDonald. Good drive, Lucy Gore. Captain gets it back. Well done, Innes. Oh, Scott will get another opportunity. Thought about firing. Has to now. The horn's about to go, and that one's just a little off. And that brings us to three-quarter time. And 17 goals to 13 in that quarter. So very similar to the second quarter, but Accies are well and truly in control. They lead this one 53-36. We'll be back shortly with the final 15 minutes. All right, our fourth and final quarter about to get underway here between Edinburgh Accies and Glasgow Saltires. 53-36. There's 17 goals to 13 in that third quarter for Accies. They've set themselves up a nice comfortable victory here. We'll see what the margin is going to be. There's one of those double touches that I love seeing off Lucy Gore last. Absolutely thrilled to be joined in commentary for this fourth quarter by Niamh McCall from the Scottish Thistles. Niamh, thank you for being with us.
Oh no, thank you for having me.
No, not at all. Now, talk us through your memories, I suppose, of National League. Who did you play for when you were a part of this competition?
Oh, a couple of years ago, I played for the who did I play for? University of Strathclyde. I have so many fond memories from it. It's so good to get that competition out week in, week out, and just to see what Scotland's netballers have to offer.
Absolutely, it's certainly, I guess, it's the pinnacle of the netball here in Scotland at the domestic level. But tell us a little bit about what you've been doing since you were playing National League. Obviously, we know that you've played plenty of matches for the Thistles, but what have you been doing domestically?
I'm actually down in Loughborough playing for the next gen team down there. I'm captaining that group. But unfortunately, I'm not playing at the minute, injured, but you know what, we're top of the table, so can't complain.
Absolutely not. And of course, that competition's about midway through, I think. So are we going to see you at the back end of the next gen competition or not?
Do you know what, I'd love to. I'm trying to convince my physio that is the goal. So we'll see.
Nice. Now put yourself in the shoes of a goal attack, which of course is where you spend most of your time out here against, particularly if you were playing against Accies. How would you approach, taking them on here, because they've been really, really good defensively so far in this game? Yeah,
their defence has been really, really impressive. They are so reactive, especially on that first ball. So I'd be looking at definitely 2 moves, trying to draw that contact or get them going forward, expose the back space, or see what else that opens up.
Absolutely. We'll keep a close eye on that as this match enters almost 3 minutes in this fourth quarter. And some more changes here. So just look down the court. We've got Ruby McLean to goal defence. Joe Pettit come on at goal shooter for the Saltires. Lucy Gore's gone back to centre. McDermott has come back on at goal defence, and Maya Trees back on at wing attack. So changes galore. We'll keep an eye on those as they continue. 54-39. So that margin at three-quarter time was 17. So a couple already here for the Saltires to begin the fourth, but sort of feel like the result is pretty much in doubt. Been in a situation once or twice, I imagine, Neve, where you are down and you know that you're not going to win the game. What are you trying to get out of a fourth quarter like this?
You'd be definitely just looking at your own performance. Can you have those little wins, if that is a percentage of goal attack or exposing the backspace to open up shooter? The small wins is what you're looking for.
Yep. So a coach is likely to say, let's go out and try and win this quarter, and that helps us going into next week. Is that part of the message?
Yeah, exactly. If you're getting exposed on something specific, like an easy 1-2 first phase centre pass, how can you work that out in the moment? Because that's only going to help you for next week.
Absolutely. Take a look here at the battle between Tui and Gore, not direct opponents, but certainly meeting regularly down at that end. As another one goes down for Pettit. Now, a number of these players, Neve, you would have no doubt played against in the past. I know you're not a defender yourself, but particularly Gemma Sol and Joe Pettit, the internal passing between them in the goal circle is very hard to stop, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they've played at Thistles in the past, and for my first cap at Thistles they were in the squad.
Okay.
So I've learned from them growing up, and yeah, they have a wealth of experience within them, and they know how to pull a defensive unit apart.
Yeah, it's certainly been working very well in the National League so far for them this year, and like I've mentioned a few times, they're definitely going to feature in the finals. But here come the Saltires the other way with a 15-goal margin. Neve, of course, just recently you were lucky enough, or not lucky enough, but you deservedly travelled to Brisbane with the Thistles and to take part in the Pacific Oz tournament against probably some teams that you don't normally get a chance to play against. Would that be right?
Yes, we have played a few of them, but we haven't played Papua New Guinea before, the Black Swans, and that was just an incredible experience. Definitely learnt a lot, especially moving into Commonwealth Games next year and hopefully World Cup after that. So yeah, definitely put us in good stead for the next couple of years. And
is there a different playing style that your Samoas and your Tongas have compared to what you probably experience more, week in, week out?
Oh, absolutely. They are some strong girls. You definitely know you're up for a battle in that game, and it's a mental battle as well. It's like, how can you pick that unit apart that you've never played against in that moment? And we didn't have much footage on them at all. So yeah, it was an amazing experience, and hopefully I can speak to Kath and have that experience again. But we'll see.
Obviously, Christiana Manua was one of those people who you came up against because she was playing for Samoa, of course. And when you see her weekly playing in the Suncorp Super Netball, you must think, I held my own against her. I did okay.
I mean, I always look back at my performance and see where I can improve. But I think I'm proud of that performance, definitely. But like you said, I'd love to play her again and see what else I can do.
Well, and that that opportunity may well come depending on where teams are ranked and who gets the final invite to the Commonwealth Games in, of course, being held here in Glasgow in 2026. I guess the beautiful thing about hosting the Com Games is that you know that you guys will be here.
Yeah, exactly. I remember actually going to the 2014 Commonwealth Games and watching the netball, and it's just surreal thinking that I'm going to hopefully, fingers crossed, playing in that game. That would be insane.
Yeah, certainly the benefits, obviously, of big home crowds and I suppose just feeling comfortable in the environment that you're used to being in and around too, I guess, is a real benefit for the home team.
Yeah, definitely. You can't beat a Scottish crowd. We're definitely the loudest. We love to make the opposition feel uncomfortable. So I'm excited to especially go up against Wales. That's what I'd love. It's the rematch.
I'm sure that would be no doubt one of the matches of the tournament, and of course the latest world rankings sort of showed Wales have crept their way up in the world rankings and haven't necessarily played as many games as many of the other teams around them, but I guess when you climb up the rankings you become one of the hunted teams, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what? They've done their work and they are a lot better, but like you said, they're a home nation that I would love to beat.
Well, there's certainly no love lost between Wales and Scotland by the sounds of things. Back here, 14 goals is the margin. Here's Wildman. Played the bulk of the game at centre and 2-goal attack. Here's another opportunity for Pettit. Goes up and in, so gone past the midway point now. That time has gone quickly, and of course, Neve, you mentioned Loughborough, your next gen team are going well. What's been the key to their success so far this year?
The work we put into the training is second to none. I think the competitiveness we have for our head coach picking a squad each time is tough. So I think that only does as well and sets us up very nicely for games every weekend.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned it must be tough picking a squad because the next gen squads are very large, aren't they? There's 18 or 20 girls to choose from each week.
Yeah, it actually varies between squads. Loughborough have 17, I think Forest have 20, but you range between that 16 and 20 group of girls.
And you mentioned you've been out for a little while with injury. Has that made you a bit of an assistant coach while you've been out? And how do you go as an assistant coach or a mentor to some of the younger girls?
I mean, I'm officially assistant coach, I think. I just let them know my thoughts, whether they want to hear them or not. But yeah, it's a different role, definitely learning a lot, just making sure I'm getting something out of the season instead of just sitting on the bench. But yeah, just trying to develop their game, develop my game, see if I can understand a wee bit more from my coach. But yeah, it's been great.
Nice. See a few more changes. Noticed that Rhona Easton back on at goal shooter for the Saltires, and apologies, I didn't bring that to you in due time. Waldman back on at centre, as I mentioned, for Accies, and we've got Lauren Pollock back on at goal attack on this occasion. Maxwell back to the bench, and Waldman at centre. Sophie Lyon on at goal attack now, also for the Saltires, and as I mentioned, Easton back on at shooter, so Zara Flett's gone to the bench. Of course, we've spoken, Neve, about the Com Games coming up in 2026, and what does that mean for the squad? Certainly the squad isn't settled by any measure of time, but are you excited by what's to come for Scotland netball and the depth of players that we have to choose from these days?
Oh, no, definitely. The group's looking good. I think that you can look at our Pac Oz experience. We went out and showed that no matter how old, how young our squad is, how inexperienced we are, we can still go out and do a job. There's still a lot of girls down here which we haven't seen. Even looking at this competition, you never know what our head coach Kath is going to say, and if these people are going to get brought up and given a chance. So no positions sealed. No one knows if they're going or not. So it's putting in the work now to make sure you're definitely on that team list.
Certainly, a couple of those debutantes we've spoken about them a lot here in National League, and Lexi Gillies must have been one that you were thrilled for, and she was a real difference maker in Brisbane.
Do you know, she was phenomenal. For being so young, she was so calm on the ball. She was just that solid rock in the middle that we needed, and I couldn't have been prouder of her.
So of course, had 3 debutants down in Brisbane, and I guess we'll see what the future holds. But the international window sort of opens up again towards the end of September, sort of at the back end of the year, and hopefully, obviously, another Celtic Cup at the end of the year.
Yes, we are looking to take that Celtic Cup home. I don't know where it's being held, but no matter where it is, we will be challenging Wales for that position.
And can you confirm that you will be fit and ready by then?
Yes, that is the aim. Definitely the aim.
Excellent. I'm sure all the Thistle supporters out there will be happy to hear that, and we'll stay tuned in the coming months for what teams that's going to feature. But in the meantime, Lauren Pollock makes good on that attempt, and she goes wide to Wildman. And just untie my tongue there, and playing nice and wide here is Maxwell and Pollock, beg your pardon, and the feeding rolls, gets herself involved here, and both defenders double down on Pettit, and that's probably not a situation you've found yourself in, Neve, too much. But when the defenders are making a concerted effort to double back on the shooter, what does that mean for you as a goal attack? Are they challenging you to be the one to shoot and to score?
Well, it really depends. If the shooter's taking the majority of the shots, they will try and force their goal attack to take a bit of the load, but I love that. I always think, well, our coach always tells me that it's goal attack show time, so it's a give and go, get your shot a bit closer, and yeah, your time to shine.
Absolutely, you'd take that challenge head on, and why not? And here's Pettit. She'll think about it, and then she'll drop it off in the end for Pollock. But no sooner I say that internal passing again. As we go under 2 minutes remaining here, and that margin has remained pretty consistent through the fourth quarter. It was 17 at three-quarter time, and it's 15 now. So we spoke about trying to win a quarter, the Saltires, and they're on track in this quarter so far. And Sophie Lyon, a beautiful shot that certainly doesn't hurt the cause. Well, Neve, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here on the coverage. We would love to see you back on the court in next gen, whether that happens this year or next or soon. Definitely look forward to seeing you back on court for the Thistles at the back end of the year. So thank you so much for joining us, and we really appreciate having you here.
No, thank you very much for having me. It's been great to watch the girls.
All right, we've got tick under 45 seconds remaining in this one, and it's great to have Neve McCall with us. And for those of you who watched plenty of that Pacific Oz series in Brisbane, she did a power of work out at goal attack, and coming back from a lower leg injury, and we'll see her back on court in no time. But shout out to the Saltires here in this fourth quarter. Really good performance. That margin was 17, so back to 12. Jo Pettit might make it 13. She does, but that's going to be a fourth quarter victory for the Saltires, and their season will come to an end after this match, but certainly didn't lose any fans in that fourth quarter. A really strong performance to finish off their season. But it is Edinburgh Accies that win this one, 64 goals to 51. They will play finals. Who they play remains to be seen, but they get the job done in this one. I look forward to having you back as this round of matches continues. We've got Dunedin and Glasgow University in the next one, and we'll finish the day with Scotstoun and Edinburgh Uni, and that will decide the makeup of our finals. So make sure you stay with us. We'll be back soon with the action in match number 3.